Haha, okay, no one's coming. Not your parents, not your friends, not your boss, not your partner. No one. The hard truth, it's all on you. And the sooner you stop waiting for someone to rescue you, the faster your life will start to change. You've been waiting for the right time, the right opportunity, the right support, the right sign. You've been waiting for someone to see your potential, to believe in you, to help you make that next move. But let me tell you something that might sting a little. Nobody's coming. Nobody's showing up at your door to hand you the life you dream about. Nobody's going to push you out of bed, fix your habits, or heal your wounds. It's all on you. The truth is, the day you realize this, the day it hits you that you are your own rescue, is the day your real life begins. It's not about becoming bitter, it's about becoming powerful. Because once you stop expecting others to save you, you finally start doing what you were always capable of doing, saving yourself. Taking responsibility for your life is the moment everything changes. It's the line between who you were and who you're becoming. Most people go through life thinking they're powerless because they've handed their power away to circumstances, to people, to their past. They blame the economy, their upbringing, or luck for where they are. But the truth is, as long as you're blaming something or someone else, you're stuck. You can't move forward because you've convinced yourself that your progress depends on things outside of your control. The day you decide to stop waiting for someone else to fix your problems, that's the day you reclaim your power. Radical responsibility isn't about guilt or shame. It's about freedom. It's the moment you stop asking, why did this happen to me? And start asking, what can I do about it now? It's easy to fall into the habit of thinking life is unfair, and sometimes it is. People hurt you, situations disappoint you, doors close when you've given everything you have. But blaming others doesn't heal you, and waiting for fairness doesn't help you move forward. The only thing that heals you, that strengthens you, is action. When you choose to take ownership, you stop giving away your energy to things you can't control. You stop saying, I can't because, and start saying, I will even if. That shift in language changes everything. It turns obstacles into challenges and challenges into opportunities. You begin to see that no matter how bad things are, you always have a choice. To react or to respond, to complain or to create, to stay where you are or to grow through it. Responsibility is power. It's the quiet, steady strength that builds your character and shapes your future. When you take full responsibility, you start realizing how capable you really are. You stop waiting for the right circumstances and start creating them. You stop needing permission to change and start taking action because you finally understand no one is coming. It's your job to believe in yourself, to show up, to build the life you want. Every decision you make, every habit you choose, every small promise you keep to yourself, that's you taking ownership of your destiny. There's a kind of peace that comes with taking responsibility. Because once you stop blaming, there's no one left to wait for. You start moving forward on your own terms. It's not easy, but it's empowering. You begin to realize that the life you want isn't about luck or timing. It's about consistency and courage. You might not control everything that happens, but you control how you respond, and that's where your true power lies. The moment you stop waiting for someone to save you and start acting like you are responsible for where you're headed, everything shifts. You start building momentum. You start believing again. You start becoming unstoppable. Motivation feels good, but it's unreliable. It shows up when life is easy, when everything goes according to plan, and when you feel inspired. But what about the days when you wake up tired, overwhelmed, or unmotivated? What happens when the excitement fades? That's where discipline steps in. Discipline is doing what needs to be done even when you don't feel like doing it. It's not glamorous, and it doesn't always feel rewarding in the moment, but it's the foundation of every real success story. People who achieve great things aren't always motivated. They're disciplined. They've trained themselves to take consistent action, no matter how they feel. Motivation is emotional, but discipline is intentional. It's a choice you make over and over again. The person who relies on motivation will only work when it's convenient. The person who relies on discipline will work even when it's hard. That's the difference between average and exceptional. Discipline builds character, it builds self-trust, and it builds momentum. Every time you push through resistance, you prove to yourself that you can be counted on. And that's where real confidence comes from, not from external validation, but from the quiet knowing that you can depend on yourself. The truth is, most people lose because they stop when it gets uncomfortable. They expect to feel ready all the time, and when they don't, they assume something's wrong. But nothing's wrong. That's just how growth feels. You're supposed to feel resistance. You're supposed to feel doubt. The difference between those who succeed and those who quit is that the disciplined person doesn't negotiate with their feelings. They do the work anyway. They get up early, they practice, they study, they show up even when no one's watching. That consistency compounds. Over time, it separates you from everyone else who gave up because it was hard. Discipline is the bridge between goals and results. You can have all the dreams in the world, but without discipline, they stay dreams. Discipline doesn't rely on excitement, it's fueled by commitment. You won't always want to do what's necessary, but every time you follow through, despite that, you strengthen your willpower. You create habits that sustain your growth long after the motivation fades. That's how you build a life that actually works, not by waiting for inspiration, but by creating systems and routines that push you forward. When you stop waiting to feel ready and start choosing to act, you shift from being reactive to proactive. You stop being controlled by your emotions and start mastering them. And once you master your actions, you master your results. Discipline is the ultimate form of self-respect. It's you telling yourself, I'm worth the effort. And that kind of mindset doesn't just change your habits, it changes your entire life. Every single person has moments when they feel lost, stuck, or unsure about what comes next. That's human. But the truth is, you don't stay stuck because of your situation. You stay stuck because of your mindset. Growth begins the moment you stop identifying with your limitations and start focusing on what you can do right now. It's easy to let fear, doubt, or comfort control your choices, but growth only happens when you do the uncomfortable thing. When you stop looking for shortcuts and start showing up for the process. The people who transform their lives aren't the ones who have it all figured out. They're the ones who decide to keep moving even when it's messy, uncertain, or painful. We live in a world obsessed with quick results, instant gratification, and overnight success. But that mindset kills long-term growth. Real growth isn't glamorous. It's repetitive. It's showing up day after day when nobody notices, when nothing seems to be working, when quitting feels easier than continuing. Growth requires obsession, not the unhealthy kind that burns you out, but the kind that makes you hungry, focused, and relentless. When you become obsessed with your own growth, you stop comparing yourself to others. You stop needing validation. You stop chasing approval. You realize that your only competition is who you were yesterday. When you start tracking your own progress, something shifts inside you. You begin to notice the small wins, the times you said no to distractions, the days you pushed through resistance, the moments you handled a situation differently than before. These small steps may not seem like much at first, but they compound. They build confidence, self-respect, and inner power. Every little effort adds up, and before you know it, the things that once felt impossible become your new normal. That's how growth works. Quietly, consistently, beneath the surface, until one day everyone around you wonders how you did it. To grow, you have to be brutally honest with yourself. That means calling yourself out when you make excuses, when you procrastinate, when you choose comfort over progress. Growth requires self-awareness, the willingness to face your flaws without judging yourself. It's not about perfection, it's about direction. You don't need to do everything right. You just need to do something different. You have to ask yourself daily, am I moving closer to the person I want to become or further away? That simple question keeps you grounded and focused. Becoming obsessed with growth also means learning to love the process, not just the results. You have to fall in love with learning, with improving, with showing up even when it's hard. The truth is, nobody grows in comfort. Every breakthrough you've ever had came after a breakdown, a challenge, or a setback. So instead of fearing the hard days, start using them. Let them shape you, not break you. Every time you choose to grow instead of retreat, you're building a stronger, wiser version of yourself. One who knows that the real reward isn't what you get, but who you become. Discipline is what separates the people who dream from the people who do. Motivation will get you started, but it won't keep you consistent. Discipline is what shows up when motivation disappears. It's the voice that says, do it anyway, even when you're tired, uninspired, or uncertain. The truth is, you can't rely on how you feel if you want to change your life. Feelings are fleeting. They shift with your mood, your environment, and your circumstances. Discipline is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. It's not glamorous, but it's powerful because it turns action into habit, and habit into identity. Every time you do something you don't feel like doing, you strengthen your self-trust. You prove to yourself that you can follow through no matter what. That's how confidence is built, not through pep talks or wishful thinking, but through action. The first few times will be hard. Your mind will come up with every excuse in the book. I'll do it later. It doesn't matter today. I'll start tomorrow. But discipline isn't about perfect execution, it's about commitment. It's about choosing long-term growth over short-term comfort. When you consistently do that, you start to change from the inside out. Discipline teaches you that progress doesn't come from intensity, it comes from consistency. Anyone can work hard for a day. What matters is what you do day after day when no one is watching. Those small, quiet decisions, waking up early, sticking to your plan, saying no to distractions, are what compound over time and create real transformation. The problem is, most people quit before they see results because they expect immediate change. Discipline helps you stay patient. It reminds you that growth is not supposed to be instant, it's supposed to be earned. There's a kind of freedom that comes from discipline, even though it feels restrictive at first. When you control your actions, you stop being a prisoner of your emotions. You stop waiting for the right time or the perfect moment. You start acting because you've decided your goals matter more than your moods. That's where your personal power begins. When you realize that you don't need to feel good to do good. Discipline gives you the ability to take ownership of your life, to build structure in chaos, and to keep moving forward even when it's hard. The more disciplined you become, the more peace you find. Because discipline creates order and order creates focus. You no longer waste time second guessing yourself or negotiating with your excuses. You simply do what needs to be done. Over time, that discipline becomes a part of who you are. It stops being something you force and starts being something you embody. You begin to trust yourself deeply because you know that no matter what happens, you'll show up. That's the real power, not in doing everything perfectly, but in refusing to give up when it gets hard. When you take full responsibility for your life, everything changes. You stop waiting for someone else to fix things, to support you, or to give you permission. You realize that no one is coming to save you. And that's not a bad thing. It's actually the most empowering truth you can embrace. Because once you accept that it's all on you, you reclaim your power. You stop pointing fingers, stop blaming your circumstances, and start doing something about them. Responsibility isn't about guilt or shame, it's about ownership. It means acknowledging that your results, good or bad, are a direct reflection of your choices, your mindset, and your habits. When you truly understand this, you stop living like a passenger and start driving your own life. You stop waiting for opportunities and begin creating them. You stop depending on motivation from others because you've built the internal drive to move forward. Taking responsibility means you stop using excuses like, I don't have time, I don't have support, or I'm not ready. Instead, you start asking, what can I do right now to change this? That single question shifts you from powerless to powerful. It puts the focus back where it belongs, on your ability to take action and influence your reality. People often fear responsibility because it feels heavy. It's easier to believe that life is happening to you instead of for you. But here's the truth, avoiding responsibility doesn't protect you. It traps you. When you blame others or external factors, you give away your control. You hand over your peace to the world and wait for it to give it back. But when you take responsibility, you take that power back. You can't control what happens, but you can control how you respond. That's where your strength lies. That's how you grow resilience and emotional maturity. When you start owning everything, your actions, your emotions, your habits, something incredible happens. Your life becomes predictable in the best way. You realize that effort produces results. You begin to trust yourself more because you're no longer waiting for luck or someone's validation. You're building your own foundation brick by brick through consistency and self-awareness. And even when things go wrong, instead of falling apart, you adapt. Because when it's all on you, failure isn't final. It's feedback. It's data you use to adjust, improve, and keep moving forward. Taking responsibility is not about controlling everything. It's about controlling yourself. It's about being honest enough to say, this is my life, and I get to decide what happens next. That mindset separates people who change their lives from those who stay stuck. It's not easy, but it's liberating. Once you embrace that it's all on you, you stop waiting and start creating. You stop hoping and start doing. You become unstoppable, not because life gets easier, but because you become stronger, wiser, and fully accountable for your own destiny. Let me tell you something. Everything you want in life begins the moment you stop waiting for someone else to do it for you. No one is coming to push you, to pick you up, or to hand you the perfect plan. That power has been sitting inside you this entire time, waiting for you to claim it. When you finally decide to stop outsourcing your happiness, your confidence, and your progress to other people, that's when you wake up. That's when you start living. You stop being a victim of your past and become the creator of your future. This entire message has been about one thing: realizing that you hold the pen. You write the story. You build the life. You have everything you need to begin. Not next month, not next year, but now. You don't need approval, permission, or a perfect plan. What you need is courage. The courage to take responsibility, to show up for yourself, to keep going even when no one's clapping. Your life changes the moment you stop saying, I can't, and start saying, I will. You don't have to know how everything will unfold. You just need to take the next step. Because growth doesn't happen all at once. It happens moment by moment, decision by decision. Every time you choose to act instead of wait, to believe instead of doubt, to build instead of blame, you take back your power. So, if you're listening to this right now feeling stuck, overwhelmed, or uncertain, hear this: you are not broken, and you are not behind. You're just one brave decision away from a completely different life. The path forward isn't about finding someone to rescue you. It's about becoming the person who rescues themselves. Every great comeback starts with one small act of self-belief. And as we wrap this up, remember, your peace, your purpose, your power, they're already within you. Stop searching outside. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Start now. Start messy. Start scared. Start imperfect. But start, because no one is coming to save you. It's all on you, and that's exactly what makes it possible. Thank you for listening. If this message hit you somewhere deep, if it woke something up inside you, that's not an accident. That's your potential talking. So go do something about it. Take one small action today that your future self will thank you for. And before you go, remember this: you are powerful, you are capable, and you are enough. The world needs what you have. Don't wait another day to show up as the person you're meant to be. Thank you for being here. Stay strong, stay focused, and never forget, your life is yours to change.